Mr. Mikael Silvestre, a Premier League, European, and World Champion, 8 major honours, and over 350 appearances with United. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. How are the legs after the recent Legends game?
It took me a while to recover, at the play 75 minutes, and then the hamstring started to get funny feeling. So I decided to come off. But the next day, was traveling back home was took me a bit of time. So yeah, in reality, 5 days to recover.
Oof.
Much more than in the past.
Well, I mean, your nickname was the Robot, wasn't it, for
The
just how
machine. Yeah.
incredible an athlete you were. So if you were feeling it, imagine how some of the other boys were.
But most of the boys now are younger than me, so I imagine they are okay. But yeah, maybe for Louis Saha, West is my generation. West missed the game, but yeah, I mean, Raymond van der Gaal, I know he's in goal, but still, we should ask him what he feels.
Awesome. So, Michael, you were pictured at Carrington recently. I think you were over for the Arsenal game, and you went behind the scenes and saw the new facility. I mean, it's changed a fair bit since you were there, wasn't it?
Yeah, a complete refurbishment. It's beautiful. It's really nice, similar to Tottenham Hotspur's training ground in terms of material they've used. Um, yeah, it's a nice space. You want to spend time, like the players were saying. If you have a good place, you want to stick around and enjoy it and spend time with your teammates and the staff. So yeah, they did a good job. The gym is spectacular as well. We can talk about the canteen and the other facilities, but where the job needs to be done in the gym, the swimming pool and all this, the sports science part are spot on now. So no more excuses.
So you managed to get some time with some of the players then.
Yeah, I was part of a group that was privileged to watch training the day after the first game of the season against Arsenal, and I got to meet some of the players. Spoke briefly to Joshua Dirksey, and Ruben as well came to have a few words. So we exchanged a few words, and he spoke to the group as well. It was really kind, and he praised Sir Alex Ferguson being the best manager of all time. And he said I was lucky to have worked under him for such a long time.
Just a bit. So was that the first time that you met Ruben?
Yeah, first time I met him, and straight away he gave me a big a big hug, and he was still moaning about losing the Europa League final against Spurs. So it was like 2.5 months after the defeat. So you can tell he's passionate about the job.
Well, that's a good point, that actually, because the situation at the moment is that obviously the season hasn't started well. That's indisputable. Everyone can see that. But the statistics that are getting thrown at him, so the low win percentage and the number of defeats and so on and so forth, particularly in the Premier League. If you look at the way that those numbers were built up last season, he and the players they prioritized the Europa League, didn't they? You can see I think they won 10 and drew one out of the first 11 under him in the Europa League. So that was the clear focus because obviously, it's a shortcut to the Champions League, it's a lot more money, so on and so forth. So obviously the Premier League went on the back burner. They lost a lot more games than they would have liked, but the priority was Europe. But then when you go and lose the final, that's the problem, isn't it? Because the gamble hasn't paid off.
Yeah, clearly it didn't. Especially on that day against a poor Spurs as well. Not to not to get the win it's pretty bad. I mean, it can't be any worse than that. You put all your eggs in one basket and you end up with nothing. It's not so much about having a go at the Champions League because you know you are nowhere near a champion, a future champion, but to be there to compete, to be able to attract top players, to make more money and with the sponsors, with revenues, it's good to be there. But on the flip side, also to have full weeks with no European competition to work, that should be beneficial at some point. But it's going to take time. So now that there is no League Cup as well, there will be only another competition, the FA Cup. Yeah, there should be plenty of time for the manager to work with the team if he stays.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's talk of pressure already, and like I say, we're only 5 games into the season. It feels very soon to me. I know, obviously, the second half of last season is there. It happened. The numbers aren't great. I think that affects the thinking. But in terms of this season, it is still early days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too early, I think, to draw the line clearly for me. Also because you're still missing players. We lost Cunha, Martinez is not back. I think those two for me should be starting every game. And it takes time for Mbuemo, Sesko to adjust to one another, you know. And still, the team looks like they don't master the system. So there's still a lot of work to be done. So hopefully, he will be given the time and the support and the players' commitment to improve.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you run the play and say, right, okay, if they get rid of the manager at this stage, it sets you back again, doesn't it? Because it repeats the cycle. At some point, there has to be some patience, doesn't there? And just say, right, it's going to get bad, but we're going to have to just suck it up and get on with it, and take more short-term pain for long-term gain, whether it's this manager or the next one, surely.
Yeah, because look, if you obviously you've seen what happened last season, and you know that there's no magic wand in one preseason with a few recruitments, you're not going to change the face of the team. You're not going to change everything like this. It would be too easy. You know,
Yeah.
it's super high level. The other teams are also improving. Everybody's is getting better. Everybody's going into recruitment, and you know it's going to take time to improve. And the question is, will we see improvement in December, in January? Because we've got to look at that. You know, you don't want to, I think you have to push it to the point that if there is no immediate danger to be relegated, you give him time to build something and work with the players. So they will need to get results. You know, they will need to get stuck in and to concede less goal. It's too much. Too much defensive record is so bad. There's a lot of things that you can't say, oh, this is the reason why, or this is that reason. You know, we could talk about the goalkeeper situation, which wasn't great. There's a floating, there's a certainty about who's number one, who's number two. Now you get rid of your number one. You sign somebody who's not well known in international place from Antwerp. He's supposed to compete with Bindier, and then you got players who are back from injury. Luke Shaw wasn't played much last season, so there's a lot of things, and you put that together, it's difficult to see the bright side. But you have to be patient. You have to be patient and stick with your decision until the point where you say this is going to work or it's not going to work. But I think it's too early to make that decision yet.
Yeah. So, obviously, you were in a dressing room that was incredibly successful like the entire time that you were there, pretty much. I think the worst that happened was that we dropped to third maybe one year,
Yeah,
you know, and that which was seen as a disaster at the time. But I mean, if you could imagine being in this dressing room right now in this situation, how should the players be behaving? Because we're seeing, one or two stories coming out here and there that, there's doubts in the dressing room over the tactics and so on. How should the dressing room as a collective be behaving?
it's easy to say, and yeah, it's super easy to say stick together, you know. But these are only words. You've got to put that on the field, in training, in every moment, support each other and support the project. And by you have to mean it. You have to do it every single minute in your behavior, in what you say, in your body language, in your commitment, in your fight. There's so many things that go into account when you say stick together, and that's the only thing you can do. And everybody has to work together to get this done. Because when you are doubting yourself and you are, which is normal because you keep losing, you lose at home, um, you lose the derby, you lose against Grimsby. It's normal. It's human being. You're gonna be doubting yourself. You're gonna start doubting the philosophy, the probably the potentially the system. Oh, I shouldn't be playing that position, and it's easy to become selfish. And the only thing that's gonna get you out of this situation is actually to think about the group. What can I do to help my teammate? What can I do to emulate, to stimulate, to challenge my teammates to get better in training, to uh, to help the coach, but to help the coach maybe to to make it difficult for the manager to take a decision on the starting 11, because you have 11 happy face, and the other ones they need to be challenging. Make sure they are knocking on the door and trying hard to get their game time. So yeah, it's all about that, which is a lot of things. And because we have a dressing room that is young, unexperienced, it's quite difficult to grasp. And that's why for me, I find it damaging for the situation that there is no more, there is not former players involved in the club, whether it's at the management, high management, or in the coaching staff. All the top clubs, and the Bayern Munich, the Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, they all have former players involved. Sometimes they stay for a long time, sometimes they go away and they come back, but you need these because they carry the baton and they know what it's like to be in a winning team. And yeah, I think it's difficult for this group to find the answer themselves because they've never been there before. They don't know what it's like to win. They don't know what it's like to lose. And the time I was there, we hated losing more than we loved winning, you know. And you don't feel it the same now. But it's almost like you can't blame them because nobody is there to tell them otherwise or to show them or to teach them, you know.
That's a very good point, actually. I mean, they've got Fletch in charge of the under 18s now. You've got Johnny Evans, but then obviously outside the first team picture, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the same.
That's food for thought. Mikael, that's great. That's good. Excellent point. Thank you very much for your time. Hugely
Pleasure.
appreciated.
Thank you.